Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 25th Lebanon Board of Works meeting. First order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Gentry.
Here.
Becky McClure. Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Here.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay. Move on to the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting, which was March 11th. Are there any edits to the minutes? Entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion we approve the minutes of March 11th.
Motion approved. Is there a second? Second from Judge. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those minutes are approved. We do have a guest with us quickly tonight, so consent from the board, take the agenda out of order. Consent. Okay, I'm going to go to new items or new business. We have a street closure request for the Lebanon Public Library. Jesse Fleming. We're going to do it first, so we'll grill you really hard for you, okay?
Hello, everybody. I am asking for a street closure in front of the library for our summer reading kickoff party. It's going to take place on June 3rd. The event is from 1 to 4 p.m., so the street would need to be closed from noon to 5 p.m. for setup and cleanup. Our theme for the summer reading program this year is Adventure Begins in Your Library, so we have a lot of fun things planned for that kickoff event. We've got a lot of community organizations coming, and we've got a bubble show. We've got Beauty and the Beast actors coming, so we're very excited to kick off summer reading.
And that's a Monday, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's just for that one block of Washington Street?
Yes, Washington Street from East Street to Meridian.
Okay, perfect. Any questions for Jesse from the board? Okay, I would entertain a motion then to approve the street closure request as presented for June 3rd from 12 to 5 p.m. on Washington Street.
Motion we approve the street closure as requested.
Motion approved. Is there a second? Second. Second from Judge. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
She's just a hair faster tonight, Alan.
So fast.
All right, that is approved. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right, we'll return to our regularly scheduled meeting then. This will take some department head reports. First up will be Police Department. Major Hood.
Good evening. In the time since the last department report, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 709 calls for service, investigated 30 vehicle crashes, and effected 17 arrests. Those arrests were for the following charges: 4 on warrants, 3 operating while intoxicated, 3 for domestic battery, 2 driving while suspended, 1 intimidation, 1 criminal confinement, 1 habitual traffic violator, 1 possession of firearm by a domestic batterer, and 1 possession of methamphetamine. In training, Sergeant Bailey attended the Mental Health Summit in Indianapolis. It's a collaborative training event between mental health professionals and representatives of the criminal justice system. Also, Officer Aaron Carlson completed effective use of law enforcement personnel and work zones training provided by the National Highway Traffic and Safety Institute. Pending your questions, this concludes my report.
Major Hood, any questions for Major Hood from the board? From the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next will be Fire Department. Deputy Chief Hendricks.
Good evening. Since the last Board of Public Works and Safety meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 110 emergency calls of service, logged 298 training hours, completed 79 commercial inspections, participated in 3 TAC meetings, finalized 9 commercial pre-plans, and instructed 1 CPR certification class. March 7th through the 11th of this month, Captain Jason Adams attended Indiana Task Force 1 MOBEX training. March 4th through the 12th, firefighter Josh Messersmith completed the Indiana State Certification Training for Fire Investigator. March 23rd, firefighter Katie Pelican completed her final in-service training and is now a lead CPR instructor. Starting today and running through this Friday, LFD is hosting a Driver Operator General State Certification class. And with this class, we have 16 LFD members attending this. Firefighters Josiah Heath, Spencer Kearns, Wes Bankert, Spencer Gully, Tyler Rigdon, Marty Paget, John Thompson, Andre Rodriguez, Brandon Beasley, Jerry Seymour, Katie Pelican, Captain Jason Adams, Tori Bossum, Josh Messersmith, Kurt Killer, and Kyle Plummer. And with this class, we, being a state certified class, we also open it up to other departments. So along with us, we also have members of Zionsville Fire Department, Whitestown Fire Department, and Speedway Fire Department. And this concludes my report.
Thank you for not reading their names as well. I appreciate that. Any questions for Deputy Hendricks? Deputy Chief Hendricks? Okay. Going to public? All right. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Next will be Parks and Recreation. John Messenger.
Good evening. We have completed Memorial Park in downtown, spring cleanup and bed mulching. They look really nice. Guys did a good job. We have also started cleanup at Vincennes University, trimming bushes, again, spring cleanup and mulching, edging beds, all the fun stuff. It's nice to get out again. We are ready for high school baseball this season to start next week. All the field prep work is complete, building the mounds, the home plate, doing a lot of edging, and again, a lot of grunt work, which we got completed, looks good. Thanks to LHS Maintenance. Kevin and his staff came out and helped us out a little bit today. Surely appreciate all his help. Mowing has started in all our properties. Dick Robertson just said that. He said really impressed that we're out mowing already. We'll be treating all the properties in the next couple of weeks. We've already treated sports fields. We'll do the rest of them in the couple weeks to come. We will be hosting events. This is on the eclipse. We'll be hosting it on Saturday, April 6th and Monday, April 8th for the 2024 solar eclipse. On April 6th, we have a pickleball tournament, cornhole tournament, inflatable games and food trucks, and a live band. The band starts around 6 o'clock. On April 8th, Memorial Park and Abner Longley Park will be great spots for viewers. We're offering reserved seating in the Seashore Water Park gates, where guests will have immediate access to restrooms and concessions, a limited crowd, free drinks from the concession stand, along with a pair of viewing glasses and a T-shirt at each chair. There again, there's a minimal fee, but you can look into that. I think we have 16 reservations already. Had some people from England and overseas that have already looked. They have 15 or 16. Illinois has reserved already, so it's going to be real interesting here in the next week. Joe's been keeping us really in good shape, so I got to say what an outstanding job he has done with public safety and all what we're anticipating, and hope it isn't that bad, but then again, I kind of do. If nothing else, our city's going to really prosper on all these events going on, and I think that's great. Our 2024 Easter egg hunt is set for Saturday, March 30th. That's this coming Saturday. We'll have a special needs hunt beginning at 9:30 a.m. and the other events will begin at 10:30 a.m. There'll be 3 different age groups, 2 to 4, 5 to 7, and 8 to 10. And a big thank you to Miss Bohannon's class. She does the millions of eggs that we will be putting out on Saturday. But I do appreciate her very much for stuffing all those eggs. And also to Jack Carroll and Purity Wholesale. They financially donate and also donate candies, which we really appreciate. They've always participated since they've come and greatly appreciate Purity. Our Spring Pickleball League is set to start on Thursday, April 4th. Games will be played on Thursday evenings beginning at 6 p.m. This is a doubles league, and all teams will play each other. No gender divisions. You can register online or by giving our office a call. The cost there is $30 per team. Again, Allison's done and the team's done a very nice job of getting all these Eclipse things together. Again, hats off to Joe for organizing all this.
Any questions for Joe from the board? From the public? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Next will be Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Thank you, board members. Good evening. We're well underway in construction season, hence the dusty boots. I promise that won't be a common thing, but just didn't have time to get into my normal shoes. But a lot going on. We'll start with some of the smaller projects. The the council chambers AV upgrades. That is all now complete, and all the training has been completed as well. The only thing left to do is we do have to finalize some paperwork tonight with an approval at City Council for funding of the change orders that were previously approved here, but that needs to go to council because of the funding request associated with that. So that'll be before council later in the evening. Let's jump over to the regional detention, regional conveyance system. That's still hanging out there. We're still working through all the approvals from CSX and NDOT. I think we've addressed all the technical issues at this point. We are really just waiting on the final permitting and reimbursement agreements. Keep in mind that a lot of the money associated with that will be reimbursed either in part or in full by those two entities. And as soon as we have that, then we can move the project forward for bidding. On a similar note, we're still working on the Chadwick Ditch drainage improvements. I just haven't given you an update in a while on that, so I would update you tonight. Wanted to update you tonight. Unfortunately, we're still working through some potentially concerning permitting issues related to that, related to Corps of Engineers and DNR permitting. So we're trying to navigate those waters to minimize those impacts on the project. Hopefully we'll have some more updates for you in the coming weeks and be able to move something forward. On the Grant Street project, getting ready to get that started again. We restarted our biweekly contractor update meetings last week and are moving that forward as we go into August. You'll see punch list repairs, curbs, sidewalks, sod reworking, some drainage improvements that will need to be made. Tree planting is expected to move forward in early April. Asphalt surfacing should follow just after that, followed by striping. All trying to wrap that up really in the next 60 days at the latest. Should be sometime in May at the worst. But should be wrapping that up, and we'll do all that primarily under traffic. So there won't be any road closures other than probably a closure on East William Street east of the project for some of the staging of materials. Grant Street Phase 2 is moving forward, targeting a letting date in July of 25. All of our right-of-way purchases are essentially finalized at this point, and in fact, this claim cycle includes the checks for payment of those right-of-way purchases, and as well as temporary easements and rights of entry. So that is in this week's claim cycle, and that will be a key point in moving that project forward to that July of next year construction. The Elizaville Road Drainage Project, just going back and forth with some additional legal review on the easement dedication documents before those go out to residents for review. Riley Road, happy to report that the center point relocation is now complete. So we're just waiting on processing of the center point access agreements for permitting our construction, and then that construction will begin later this spring. On Fordyce Road, our next real major project that's coming at us. We had our meeting last week, had our public meeting over at Centenary United Methodist. We want to thank them for hosting. We had about 50 people in attendance, and generally speaking, I think it was a pretty positive crowd and a pretty positive conversation. I want to thank our partners at Milestone and GAI and United Consulting for really helping to run that meeting and be prepared with schedules and questions and answers for our residents that came out to hear more about the project. At this point, we're basically, the project is primarily looking at utility relocations. These are utilities that are outside of our hands. These are electricity, these are phone and cable, these are things of that nature that are ongoing. And we won't see real road construction probably start up until around the 1st of August. All targeted to be complete and ready for the new elementary school opening approximately a year after that. The Witt Road project, nothing's really changed here as far as Public Works is concerned. We're still targeting a preliminary field check meeting in the spring. In fact, we have that scheduled now for 4/19, and that's really how we begin the utility coordination process with all the affected utility providers in the area. And keep in mind, this is scheduled for letting in July of 2026, so a year after the letting on the Grant Street Phase 2 project. Noble Street, not really a whole lot to report. Obviously, we're excited that we were awarded 2029 NDOT fiscal year funds for that project. Our next step really is a early coordination meeting later this week with NDOT to begin that process. Miscellaneous active living programs. We're still working through some utility relocate issues with the citywide wayfinding signage before those can be installed. Our cost share program is up and running. We're processing applications as we speak and moving those things forward. Also, happy to report that the Big Four Trail additional reconstruction, extending that project about another 1.2 miles, is now scheduled to start around April 8th. So just around the corner, we'll be working on that. That's the same crew that's doing the paving on Grant Street. So they'll be moving and hopping back and forth between the two projects. Downtown projects, John mentioned this, the alley-oop project for the Heart of Lebanon. Public Works has completed the asphalt patching associated with those sump pump relocations. And as John mentioned, we completed some miscellaneous concrete repairs around the square, and that really freed up those beds for the mulching work that John and his crews have been tackling over the last week or so as well. A new project on the list, the 180 Makeover Program. This is on your agenda for later in the meeting, but assuming this goes forward, this is the funneling of the ready money through the city for these miscellaneous projects. Right now, the only project that is scheduled to move forward is some rehab at the Boone County Cake Company associated with the addition of a covered patio and some remodeling work. So more to come later in the meeting as you consider a sub-recipient agreement on that project. Out at Stone Eater, a lot of things happening out there. Primarily, since we've last met, we've been working on hauling in material for the trail building contractor. We also received another $25,000 from the Boone County CVB for the funding of that project. The material that has been hauled in is this crushed concrete that we've been sourcing off of the associated NDOT projects for the widening and the reconstruction of the rest stops just north of town. We've got over 8,000 tons already delivered, another 1,300 tons or so that will be coming in this week. And happy to report that Milestone has also began construction of the park access roads, which should also be done this week or early next, just depending on weather. And then next week we'll go into storm sewer construction. And after that, we'll be working on the parking lots towards mid-April. The old street garage, really nothing to report there, just working with our consultants at V3 and the Parks Department to start engaging the public on input there. Other park-related projects, where we're just finalizing some design scope associated with pickleball court renovations, as well as the Abner Longley Park Fishing Pier. Keep in mind both of those, the Abner Longley Fishing Park project is associated with our rescue plan monies. We're also working on the Big Four trailhead portalet design and installation up there at the trailhead behind Menards, and then working on some miscellaneous projects with John and his team for later in the year. Police Department, still working on sewer upgrades, essentially waiting for the contractor to be on site, really scheduled to be in there 1st of May, but that may, as of an update I got just a few minutes ago, they may be here a little early, so we're waiting to get confirmation on that. And then our police station building needs assessment is now in draft form, and at the next available meeting, we'd like to have our consultants from DLZ here to present that to you for future consideration as the department continues to grow. Working with the fire department on HVAC rooftop unit upgrades, and so we're just working on finalizing some additional quotes for them so that we could move that procurement process forward. DPW, Our bid documents are now on the street. Our program is developed. We're hopeful that we will hear something positive on the community crossing grant program applications that were submitted. Usually those are announced around the first week of April. We're waiting to see what the schedule is for those announcements. And hopefully we'll have some good luck there and be able to do the full 21 streets and 4 miles of resurfacing projects. Let's see, the last but certainly not least, just want to update everybody on the Leap District road work. A lot of this was posted on our social media accounts. I want to thank Joe for that. But on the Witt Road North area, so this is County Road 150 West or Witt Road from 450 North up to State Road 47. They're just waiting on permits to be able to do the intersection improvements at 47, and then that will also include a temporary traffic light, temporary stoplight at that location that probably won't be complete till sometime in May, but again, waiting on NDOT permits for those. County Road 375 North, this is where activity really is getting started actually today for the installation of a temporary stoplight at that location. And there's kind of 2 phases to this. The first one is going to close County Road 375 east of 39. While they work on that installation, there's a temporary signal that is going to be put in place to bring traffic down to in 1 lane through that area so they can work safely. And then that will last for about 3 weeks, and then they will close down 375 west of 39 to work on that area. So this involves pavement widening on the west side. This involves a temporary signal installation on all 4 corners. The closure was something that was required due to safety from NDOT. So if people wonder why we're allowing them to close that, we are required for them to close it, or NDOT is required that they close it in order for the safety of the traveling public and the workers working in the area. So that's County Road 375 at 39.
And Kevin, just to clarify that, that's an NDOT project, just all those lights?
It is not an NDOT construction project. It is an NDOT permitted project.
Okay.
That work, boy, I'm sorry, I'd have to go back and look at all this. Some of the signals are being funded by Lilly. Some are being funded by the state, by the IEDC. I don't remember which one is which off the top of my head. I'd have to go back to notes on that one.
Okay, that's fine.
But, and then in that same time frame, they will be installing the signal heads at County Road 300 North. So it is really kind of anticipated that Witt Road North at 47, that 375 at 39, that 300 at 39, as well as a new signal at Witt Road South and 300. All those would kind of be coming online around the same time in early May. In addition, there's also a couple of additional signals that are awaiting permitting at the exit ramps on State Road 47 at I-65. So a lot of these signals are scheduled to be installed, under construction and installed and turned on early May, sometime in the month of May. A lot of these things are still in flux, but this is anticipation of the construction traffic increases over the summer that we'll see associated with the Eli Lilly project. So again, basically all major intersections around that site will have traffic signals added to help control the traffic and increase safety and traffic flow. Last but certainly not least on that is County Road 450 North. They're working on the reconstruction of that, paving that area from Witt Road North all the way out to 39. So formerly a gravel road that will become a paved road, kind of a county road cross-section from 39 all the way to the eastern bypass that was constructed, and then a full reconstruction from the eastern bypass to Witt Road. So those are the projects that are also ongoing and scheduled to be wrapping up here in the next few weeks. But County Road 450 North remains closed. The eastern bypass, County Road 375, all these remain closed to all except for local traffic as they're completing this work. So a lot of work going on there as we get into spring and asphalt plants begin to open up. I think that's all I have.
Is the bypass road open?
The bypass road is open to local traffic. So
Yeah.
it is barricaded with staggered barricades. But that's primarily, I say, open to local traffic. That's really, a lot of that access is for the farmers getting into the fields at this time of
Okay.
year. There's a lot of ongoing modifications and construction that Milestone and that crew is doing to make sure field entrances are adequate to get farmers in and out. But a lot going on there. So it is closed to through traffic, but the barricades are there. They are staggered to allow local traffic to get through as needed, especially with all the other closures and construction on 450 and 375. It's important that that bypass is passable for those that are living and working in the area.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you and compliment you on the public meeting out at Centenary on the Fordyce project last week. I thought it was pretty well attended. The presentation was very good, and I think that all the participants got an opportunity to have questions and look at the maps and all of the other things. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, and I would also point out, we're going to, we took attendance, or those that wanted to sign up, they could give us their contact information. We'll be distributing contact information for the design and construction team. We'll also be posting updated construction drawings on the engineering department website. So if people were not able to attend and would like more information, they might be able to find it there, or they can reach out to myself and or the rest of the construction team with questions or concerns.
Any other questions for Kevin? For the public? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next will be Planning Department, Ben Bottriger.
Good evening, board members. Over the last couple of weeks, the planning department issued it did 80 building inspections and issued 38 permits. Of those 38 permits, there were 7 new residential single-family homes, so still continue to see strong activity there on the single-family home construction. In addition, there were several commercial permits, so again, still seeing very strong activity on the commercial side as well moving forward. We did have a Plan Commission filing deadline, and so we have a number of items for the April Plan Commission. The first is a primary plat and development plan for Browning Investments. Their Park 65 project is the industrial development that's just west and behind the Flying J. This did come through for approvals previously, but they're making some changes as they now have a tenant identified, so they're redoing the plat for that and getting that ready to start construction later this year. We do also have a development plan for the Lebanon Hotel Group. They're going to be constructing a Home 2 Suites hotel in the Gateway Marketplace development. So we have the Fairfield Inn that's already under construction, and Home 2 Suites will be going in right next door to the Fairfield Inn. This would be a 92-room hotel, and I believe there's like 86 rooms in the Fairfield. So good additional hotel rooms there for the city. I did also have a development plan for the Lebanon Middle School. They will be relocating the primary entrance to the building and then also redoing the bus and employee and customer parking lots, basically flip-flopping everything on the site to make the site work better. So that is coming through approvals right now. And then the final one, we do have a right-of-way vacation request. This is on Elizaville Road. There is an unimproved right-of-way that goes through 2 homes to the east back to the school's property, and that's never been used as right-of-way or street, and so there is a vacation request from those property owners to come for us. Our code enforcement staff is out for spring break right now, so I attempted to try to put the code enforcement numbers together myself and failed miserably, so I don't have those this time for you. So I'll be sure to update you next time on that. So that is all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions for Ben from the board? From the public? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next will be Public Works, Jason Lawson.
Good evening. So since our last meeting, actually first, I left the Yard and Debris Week on here for a reminder. Again, it's April 22nd to the 26th. So since our last meeting, DPW staff member Parker Lewis was promoted to infrastructure inspection. All DPW staff completed 811 training. The street department built a new debris box for one of the dump trucks for the chipper for this chipping season. We provided traffic control for the stormwater department over on Patterson Street. They're doing a drainage project. And we did, as Kevin said, we got surface placed in the alley for Alley Oop to finish up our drainage project there. The stormwater department, They cleared storm drains. They got all of Patterson done. Like I said, it's 90% complete. They got to do the asphalt service, and we're getting some more of that Wednesday. So it's kind of been hard to get right now. It's just now coming out for the year. We received 259 locate tickets from 811. I've left the limb and brush schedule here at the bottom for everybody. Inspections. We did 9 SWIP inspections and 15 working right-of-way inspections. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Jason. Any questions for Jason from the board? From the public? Okay, thank you, sir. And last but not least, communications and community development. Joe LePage.
Good evening, everyone. Just a friendly reminder, we are exactly 2 weeks away from the total eclipse here in Lebanon, exactly 2 weeks away. So on the 29th, you'll see the next kind of installment. We've been going in 10-day increments, and so we'll just be 10 days away on March 29th. So we're kind of, we're hitting the time where we're starting to make our plans and take a look at the forecast. We've heard everything from overcast and rainy to perfectly sunny skies. And so the uncertainty of the whole thing has been kind of the most difficult part. We were commiserating this morning where we don't know if they're going to be 5 people or 5,000. So it's one of those things where we're just going to keep on planning, keep on doing, and we'll see what happens. Whether it's a party with just us friends here in the city of Lebanon, fantastic. If we have a lot of out-of-town new friends as well, it'll be a great event, no doubt about that. Tying up some loose ends, many loose ends, in fact, with the eclipse and related items. Hot off the presses today and brought some here. So if you come to our public meetings, you can get free eclipse glasses that are branded with the Lebanon Get Mooned and Boone logo on them. We'll have those here for the public meetings, but also the various different watch party locations. There are 8 nearby watch party locations, getting everyone geared up, ready to go. All the little signage, the portalets, all those things are kind of the final missing pieces, the final domino to fall. Also, the marketing efforts, we're getting a lot of positive feedback from the greater Lafayette area. TV, radio, and print spots have officially been hitting folks and all their various platforms. Also 3 different billboards, 3 digital billboards. You can see them along I-65. One that is in the greater Lafayette area, and then 2 that are closer towards us and further towards Indianapolis, counting down the days for the eclipse. And so looking forward to doing that and having a great event. Also some things that we're working on the planning side of things as far as community development goes, not only with Summerfest, that's a bit further on, but also getting ready for sending out the groundbreaking invites for Stone Eater Bike Park coming up. And so a lot of you will be getting those in your respective inboxes there, ordering promotional materials for that groundbreaking. Also game planning, the ribbon cutting, which is set for later on this year. And also, as Kevin has mentioned before, the National Interscholastic Cycling Association is set to hold an October race at Stone Eater. And so we want to have a big launch for all the young people that will be on bikes there, being able to give them some great Stone Eater swag once they're in for that park being open and ready to race as well. You can also see monthly updates with the bike park on our YouTube channel. We've been doing monthly updates throughout the course of this process, and those can be visible by just going to the city's YouTube channel and clicking on them. You can go month by month, or you can just search Stone Eater Bike Park and it's right there. But a lot of different things that are going on, along with regular podcast updates taking place in community development. So a lot of irons in the fire. Exciting time.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? From the public? All right. Thank you very much.
Make sure you get your glasses, everybody, before you leave, your family, your loved ones, all that.
All right. That concludes department head reports. Move on to old business. There's nothing on my agenda for old business. Is there anything from the board?
No.
Okay. New business then. The first item up is a street closure request concerning the Megan Hammerly run. And you are not Matt Wilson.
I am not Matt Wilson. Appreciate you noting that distinction. But Matt did ask me if I could step in for him and read this request. So on behalf of the Boone County Mentoring Partnership, they request a similar road closure to last year regarding the Megan Hammerly Memorial 5K Run Walk on Saturday, May 11th, 2024, from 8:45 a.m. to 11 a.m. These will include rolling closures on Tiger Way, Grant Street, north of Tiger Way, up to the three-way stop there at the middle school, northeast corner of the tennis courts, as well as Outer Drive and Hewlin Drive, where they will leave the high school, they will go up Outer Drive into the park and kind of make some loops around these various areas and also stay within the high school driveways and parking lots. Again, same layout though as last year, and they will have volunteers manning all these intersections, but they would request that they be allowed to work with the police department for a rolling closure associated with this 5K.
Okay, any questions for not Matt Wilson from the board? No. Okay, would entertain a motion to approve the request as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the request as presented for the closure of street for the Megan Hammerly Run on May 11th.
Okay, motion and a second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, next item up will be a surplus items request from the Parks Department.
Good evening. Tonight, I would like to ask your permission for surplusing two vehicles. Make is a Ford, an F-350 pickup truck. That's one of the last vehicles that we owned. It's a year is 2015. And the other one's Ford, F-250 pickup truck, and that year is 2016. Both of those were owned by the city, and we're going to turn them into enterprise for lease vehicles. And Bill's done a lot of work.
We'll have one more to surplus.
One more to go after
And
this,
then
yes.
that's all of them.
Yeah, that barrel truck, that good old barrel truck.
Okay, any questions on that from the board?
No.
Okay, we entertain a motion to declare the 2015 and 2016 Ford trucks surplus.
Make a motion, we declare the 2015 Ford F-350 and the F-250 2016 as surplus.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Dick. All in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, that is approved.
Thank you.
John. Thank you, Bill. All right, next item will be a subrecipient agreement with the Greater Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce and the City of Lebanon. This is related to the Ready Fund. So, Kevin? Probably Kevin and Rob, honestly, probably this one. But.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll just give you an overview on this. As I mentioned briefly in my report, the subrecipient agreement is an agreement between the Greater Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce and the City of Lebanon. The Chamber of Commerce is the recipient. We are the sub-recipient. So this is associated with Ready funds, and essentially the Greater Indianapolis Chamber has received a little over $2.9 million, or I'm probably better to say a little shy of $3 million in Ready funds from the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, and so they are funding these projects as the recipient, funneling that money through the subrecipients, which is us. Also in part with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Planning Organization, the IMPO, Indianapolis Metropolitan Planning Organization, and the 180 Alliance, which is the original grant application entity that we were involved with as a multi-county jurisdictional grant applicant. So again, this would be a subrecipient agreement to deliver services. So the City of Lebanon would be delivering services associated with this grant. And these would be to pass through federal monies associated with this specific project, that is the Boone County Cake Company project that I mentioned. The project was granted $27,000. Sorry, let me find the actual number here. Well, it's just shy of $28,000, but that's also outlined in the subrecipient agreement that I assume will be read into the record here. But again, we are a subrecipient to funnel these federal monies through and ultimately deliver projects associated with these grant monies for the end user, which in this agreement is the Boone County Cake Company and their associated project.
And so just to give a big, like, zoom out picture even more, I guess, than what Kevin did. So essentially, this was part of, when we were part of the 180 Alliance, which now we're in CERTA, but the first round for Ready, we were in this, I don't know, kind of western, greater Indianapolis area, essentially, kind of us to Park County and kind of south, but not Lafayette. One of the kind of pillars was focusing on community main streets. And so out of that kind of grew this facade grant application type project. And so it's certainly a little tricky with, obviously the money's going through a lot of, I don't call it hands here, but at the end of the day, we are the ones that have to be the ones that kind of oversee and manage the just documenting side of this for the recipients. And so this has been through legal. We've kind of vetted it. Frankly, initially we had concerns about how it was structured, but I think we've kind of gotten through and received clarification for us that makes us comfortable with where we are, that we essentially are functioning as a pass-through entity for this. And so federal grants come a lot of regulations and things like that. And so that's kind of what we have to have this subrecipient agreement with it. But this is kind of all stemming from matching monies that we were, federal government initially, and then through the state government, and then kind of down to us. So
Essentially, we are the end users that applied for this makeover program, in this case, the Cake Company. They do not have the ability and authority to receive these federal funds. So that's where they're putting us as that pass-through, that go-between, because of our ability and because of our experience managing federal funds, i.e. the NDOT projects that we do, the other READY program projects that we do, like the bike park project. So those monies will be funneled through us. We will handle the procurement process for them, and ultimately this will be to deliver a project for these private entities that have won these makeover projects through the 180 Alliance.
yeah, not so dissimilar from our own kind of RDC facade grant program, just a little more legal intensive than probably our system is now.
So does this qualify because it's kind of like a Main Street project, or I'm trying to get how this qualified?
Yeah, so it's because it's promoting preservation of historic buildings and also increased kind of quality of life in downtowns. So I certainly know Advance has in Jamestown, they also have some buildings that are, or is it Thorntown? I can't remember now.
I'm not aware of all the other communities. I know there are several communities around the county that were also elected funds through the makeover program, but we're focusing on obviously just the ones in Lebanon, not those ones throughout the county.
Sure. But we don't necessarily pick which ones get it though. It's selected by the EDC and the 180 Alliance kind of group that says this project qualifies and it would just be justified. So,
But we have to submit it, don't we?
No. EDC, the Boone EDC
The 180
does.
Alliance accepted these applications and filtered through them and submitted those for Ready as part of this makeover program. We are just the ones that will be the subrecipient to receive that money, take the projects through a federally compliant and state compliant procurement process, and then ultimately deliver those funds to the end user. But and in this case, I do have the number now. It's $26,775.50.
Excuse me. Well, I guess where I'm trying to go is that here was this money that was available. Okay, they reached out. People in charge reached out to our community or whatever and was looking for. Do you have something? A project that you might be able to use some funds out of this fund, out of this amount of money. And so we put together, someone put together found a project, put together an application, helped these people put together an application and submitted it. And then somehow down the road, that committee reviewed all the applications and selected one.
Correct.
Is that correct?
It'll be the 180 Alliance that led that process. Locally, there was a Boone County commissioner on that 180 Alliance, Board of Directors, our Boone County, our EDC was also represented, and they've been processing a lot of those applications for the 180 Alliance. And, we're at this situation now where funds have been awarded and they're ready to distribute those funds. But because of the federal nature of these monies coming out of the Federal American Rescue Plan, these monies have to be funneled through an entity that is properly set up to receive federal monies. And we are. Cities, municipalities, counties, we're the entities that are generally permitted to receive these funds. And so that's where they're asking us to help manage the procurement process associated with these funds, funnel the money through us to deliver those projects. And this is the first project. Again, this is a makeover program. There are several projects associated with it. This is the first one that's just ready to go to contract.
It's kind of like the RDC grants that we give out.
It's similar.
Very similar towards
The
that.
only thing that's different is that this is not a reimbursable grant. It's with the RDC, like we reimburse the building owner and they run through with this, we're a little bit more involved in the procurement side. And then we'll have agreements between us and Boone County Cake Company as well, how we structure this agreement as well. But this is kind of the first initial subrecipient agreement for just this on this side of it.
Yeah,
So-
it is similar, but the fact that there's federal money, not RDC money, makes it a touch more complicated.
Yeah,
Exactly.
little more legally just
Yeah, I
had to
know.
work through
I
some.
know.
Yeah.
I know, I understand.
So Kevin, so the money goes for the building, not to the owner? Is that correct?
Right. So the project that the owner has submitted in this makeover program will be executed by us.
Gotcha.
We will handle the bidding of that project. We will handle the distribution of the funds associated with that project. Those will all be funneled through us, as I said, because we're the ones set up to receive those federal dollars.
So this year, as we went through the annual financial report, we have to have all federal grants. So I have to have like the application and all the paperwork. So do you have that?
We do now, yeah.
Okay,
This
good.
was not on the horizon when those questions were asked, earlier in the
That's
year.
fine. Okay.
But we hadn't, that was for 2023.
Right,
Obviously,
right.
we hadn't received any money at that time.
Yeah, I just want to say something now instead of waiting until next year going, okay, I need that paperwork.
Absolutely,
So,
no, we're
okay.
fully tracking this,
Thank you.
along with our other projects that receive federal aid, as what we'll need to meet the reporting requirements for you as you go into 2025.
Any other questions about the agreement or overall project? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve the subrecipient agreement between the Greater Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce and the City of Lebanon. And authorize the mayor to sign on the board's behalf. Motion from anybody?
I make a motion that we approve the agreement for the Chamber of Commerce for the City of Lebanon and the Boone County Cake Company as presented, and have the mayor sign documents.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you, board.
Thank you.
Again, we'll have, as more projects come forward, we'll have more subrecipient agreements as well.
Yeah, there will be. There's 2 or 3 more projects in the pipeline, so as soon as they're ready for recipient agreements to be executed, those will be before you for your consideration.
Similar to this?
Yeah.
Exactly like this,
Okay.
yes.
All right, and last but not least, policy update for the Lebanon Police Department. Major Hood? Do we have the Wi-Fi thing working for you now this time? Or the
We had a
new
connection
system?
in the back, so we'll say, there we go.
There we go, all right.
There's good and bad news, I guess. This is only one policy update tonight. It's the good news. The bad, I guess it's 9 pages.
That's all right.
Much like the last batch of policy updates that we did, this particular policy update's based on a May 2022 presidential executive order and subsequent May 2023 accreditation standard issued by the United States Department of Justice. As we've seen in some of these policy updates here in the past, I guess I should ask what I'll ask at the end of this is for your approval to accept the policy update. But this is to be used apart from, but part of, the new statewide policy on deadly force that's going to be released in July. Some of the notes that came with this policy update is the duty to intercede and report has been renamed duty to intervene in order to match the terminology that the state will use when their policy update comes out in July.
Yes, sir. Before we go too far, Major Hood, from your perspective operationally at Lebanon Police Department, intercede versus intervene, does that cause much of a on-the-ground difference from how you think our officers would react?
I don't think it will, because as part of the new defensive tactics training policy that we addressed earlier on there, our instructors will thoroughly cover what this means, how it's to be applied, and I don't think there'll be any question for the officer on the field to recognize what they need to do when presented with intercede or intervene. I don't think it'll matter to them, to be honest with you.
So from their perspective and their training, it's really...
It's going to be the same.
It's going to be the same. Yeah.
Same picture.
And that's kind of my point. Like, it's really not, certainly this is a legal document, and obviously intercede and intervene can have different meanings in court of law, right? And so that's where, but functionally, the way we're already operating now aligns with this.
That's correct. It's not any change for us.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Another note they did add with this update, the Lexapol Folker, warnings and identification before deadly force applications, what you see on there, just a little background. They've added some additional content and considerations that provide an officer should not use deadly force against a person whose actions are a threat solely to themselves or property. We do see a lot of content that's marked out in red. One other policy update they gave us is a lot of times this is material that's covered elsewhere in the policy manual, and it just kind of removes that redundancy. When we get to the training section, once again, we have already approved the new statewide defensive tactics training policy, which kind of covers some of the same material. Officers do receive training. It's now a minimum of 4 hours on use of force and physical tactics versus the previous 2 hours. So we've already taken those steps to address those requirements. And these training requirements, they speak of the legal updates, de-escalation, duty to intervene, and duty to request or render medical aid. We already teach this. It's not anything different than what we're already doing. Ending your questions, I'll ask that you approve the policy update.
Thank you, Major. Any questions for Major Hood from the board?
So, no.
Okay. With that, then, I would entertain a motion to approve the policy update for the Lebanon Police Department SOGs.
Make a motion, we approve the policy updated for Lebanon Police Department presented by Major Hood.
Motion, is there a second? Second from Judge. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you, board. Thank you. All right, that concludes what I have for new business. Is there anything from the board? Okay, any announcements? Okay, would entertain a motion to approve the claims.
Make a motion, we approve the claims.
Motion to approve the claims. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Claims are approved. And would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. We do have a meeting that was originally scheduled for April 8th. We have canceled that meeting just so for the board and the public awareness. To be determined whether we try to have another, if we need to have another meeting kind of that week. We're kind of just playing it by ear, trying to see where we are. But if not, our next regular scheduled meeting will be the April 22nd. So no meeting on the eclipse day because it's going to be disaster, we think so.
I want to change that 22nd to the 23rd due to a
Oh,
conflict.
that's right. I forgot about that. We were going to change that too. Remember those emails. So yeah, we may actually be changing that one as well too. So April may get a little special on meeting dates. So, all right. With that, we are adjourned. City Council is up next.